Hi guys, I'm going to make a short video about motivation today. So motivation is extremely important because essentially everything we do out of choice. We do it because we want something or we don't want the consequences of not doing it. So I'm going to relate this to training and healthy eating because I think that's going to be quite relevant. That's my field of expertise. But you could apply this to like your work, your education, if you guys have like kids, how they're motivated. So it can apply to everything. So motivation can be grouped into two categories, right? You've got intrinsic motivation. So this is motivated by the pleasure and satisfaction of doing the activity itself. So with training, you can just I just really enjoy training and like healthy eating. I really enjoy eating kind of like healthy foods, like they taste good. And obviously this is very, very powerful. This is ideally we want to use a lot of intrinsic motivation like in our behaviors, but not everything can be intrinsic. So that moves on to extrinsic. So extrinsic means you're motivated by an external outcome. But then this can be further divided into self-determined and non-self-determined. So self-determined means it aligns with your values and you choose to participate out of your choice. Whereas if it's non-self-determined, it's not really aligned with your identity and you participate because of external or internal pressure. And non-self-determined motivation can be grouped into external regulation and introjected regulation. So external regulation means it's regulated by rewards or external constraints. So an example could be, I'm going to train today because I've paid for a session and I don't want to lose that money. Or I follow the nutrition plan because I don't want my trainer to be like disappointed with me. And I think we can all relate this to like maybe like colleagues or actors, musicians or athletes that are just doing it for the money, and kind of shows in like the end product. And this is the least effective form of motivation because once the reward or the pressure is taken away, you're likely to stop. Moving on to the second component of non-self-determined motivation. So this is introjected regulation. So in this, you partly buy into the process, but there's a high influence of avoidance motivation. So you're trying to get away from something negative as opposed to approach motivation where you're moving towards something positive. So an example could be you train because otherwise you're going to feel guilty or self-conscious of what your friends, your family, or your colleagues will think of you. Or you follow the nutrition because you want to lose stomach fat or any other part of your body you're not happy with. And often this is where PT clients start. And the problem I think is that avoidance motivation is rather weak and something could pop up into your life that makes it seem unimportant, and then you might stop training or following your nutrition. So we want to try and move people towards where they're more self-determined. So the first sub-factor of that is identified regulation. So that means you perform the behavior by choice because you view it as important. And there's a more heavy reliance on approach motivation and internal rewards. With this, it doesn't mean you necessarily have to enjoy it. So an example could be like, I don't like squats, but I do like having toned legs, or eating healthy is a chore, but I feel much better when I do. So that you basically weigh up which one you want more, and then you follow through. And this is much stronger because you're likely to carry on as you've already attached positive internal reward to the behavior. So on to the last factor of self-determined motivation. So this is integrated regulation. So this is when your motivation and behaviors, they become part of your self-identity. So an example could be training's hard, but if I want to be the fit and healthy, strong person that I want to be, then I'm going to consistently get it done. Or I'm a person that eats healthily because I've developed a lifelong habit and that's just what I do and that's just who I am. So I hope this has been like useful for you guys, and maybe just have a think about like where you are on this scale, and how you could maybe try and kind of like think about like your values and like what you want, and try and move you on to kind of like the more self-determined. So you're doing it out of choice, or ideally you actually genuinely enjoy the process.